We start this hour with breaking news. We're getting reports from the US Geological Survey of a powerful magnitude 8.8 earthquake striking off Russia's far east coast. Now, that's triggered a Pacific Ocean tsunami advisory, with the US scientific agency warning that hazardous tsunami waves could reach areas along the coasts of Russia and Japan in the next 3 hours. And in the last few minutes, we do understand those waves have reached Hokkaido in Japan. What you're seeing is people moving to higher ground in Hokkaido. And we've also seen some pictures from Hiru in Japan. The sea is certainly more active there as well. Now, the Japanese government expects a tsunami as high as 3 meters to arrive at large coastal areas along the Pacific Ocean and has already issued emergency and evacuation warnings. Well, according to the US Geological Survey Center, the epicenter is here near the Kamchatka region, where the Russian news agency TASS reports that several people suffered minor injuries already, including at the regional airport after the quake. And warnings are not only in Japan and Russia. An evacuation order has been issued by the emergency services in Hawaii. The Department of Emergency Management ordered everyone in coastal areas to get to higher ground and head to evacuation zones indicated in the area. It's estimated that the waves could hit Hawaii in the next 4 to 5 hours. Well, we can cross now live to both Tokyo and Los Angeles with our correspondents Shaima Khalil and Peter Bowes. Shaima, if I can ask you first, we do understand those waves have already reached Japan, but Japan has a very sophisticated warning system. Did you get the warning?
Yes, this is what we woke up to. We woke up to an earthquake and tsunami alert. I would say first thing in the morning, and then it kept coming. It was an advisory first, and then it was upgraded to a warning, and then at specific areas really of where to expect those waves. As you say, Japan has a very sophisticated warning and alert system, regular updates really that people get on their phones, but also within a couple of hours or less, the meteorological agency held a press conference reiterating evacuation orders for the large area that is affected by the warning. And just in the last few minutes, really, before we came on air, local media have been reporting that waves of up to 30 meters have now reached several areas in Hokkaido, about 3 locations in Hokkaido in northern Japan. The evacuation warnings here are spanning hundreds of kilometers, large swathes of Japan's east coast, so from Hokkaido in the north to Ogasawara Islands in the south. So if you look at the map, really, it's a big or a very long line along the Pacific coast because of that 8.8 magnitude earthquake in Russia. Again, they're reiterating the warnings. The meteorological agency, waves could reach up to 3 to 4 meters. And again, the local reporting is saying, look, 30 centimeters is what we're reporting now. These waves could get higher. And again, it's just to watch through the next few hours. And the warnings that we get on our phones and you see on major news websites is escape to higher, safer ground. Time of the tsunami arrival is just an estimate because, again, we get if you will, we get tables and of schedules of when these waves are about to hit. So I think a couple of them were in the last hour, and we're expecting more this hour. The Prime Minister has also been speaking in the last hour or so. He says the government has already formed a task force working to access more information on the current situation. And also said that we'll alert more people of evacuation if necessary, and of course they'll put just safety and making sure that lives are safe as their priority.
And Shaima, we're just getting news that the Philippine agency has also released a tsunami advisory. Waves of around 1 meter expected to arrive afternoon time in the Philippines. Just give us a sense of the geography of the region and why, earthquake with an epicenter all the way in Russia can be so damaging for this region.
Well, this earthquake is huge. It's 8.8, but also it's quite shallow. And so the effect of that will push through in the Pacific areas that are in the vicinity of the epicenter. As you say, it may be in Russia and the epicenter may be far away, but the reverberations of that would affect areas like the Philippines, like Japan, like Hawaii. We've also heard, but we've also heard that, portions of Alaska could also be affected. It is just the location, both the location of it and the strength of that earthquake that are sending all these literal waves on all these coasts. So I'm not surprised that the Philippines is now getting a tsunami alert. Japan is really used to these alerts and these warnings because of the location and because where they're affected. And it's not just, we're very used to earthquakes, but it's not just earthquakes that occur in Japan or in the areas around it. As you say, it also gets affected. These areas get affected when an earthquake as strong as this, and I must say as rare as this, hits the coast of Russia as well.
Okay, Shaima, we'll leave it there with you for now. Thank you very much for that update. You mentioned Hawaii. We do understand that the Honolulu Department of Emergency Management said on X, take action, destructive tsunami waves expected. Let's bring in Peter Bowles in Los Angeles. Peter, I mean, Hawaii, obviously a much smaller island with far less resources. What orders have been given there and what's likely to happen?
Well, for the past hour, warning sirens have been heard right across Hawaii. It is all of the Hawaiian islands that could potentially be hit by this tsunami. And so the warning now, right now, is for people to get to higher ground, to take urgent action to protect life and property. So this is the highest level of warning that is facing Hawaii right now. And as we've just been hearing, again, this is one of those areas that is used to these kinds of warnings. And certainly here in California, it's a little rarer, but we are used to earthquakes here and the potential repercussions of quakes that happen here or indeed elsewhere. As far as the west coast of America is concerned, there are 3 levels of tsunami warning. There's a watch, there's an advisory, and there's the warning itself. Now, in the last hour, the alert for the west coast of the US, so that's Oregon, Washington, Alaska especially, but California as well, has been raised from a watch to an advisory. An advisory means that there are dangerous currents, that there are potentially dangerous waves on the way, and that people need to be thinking about that and thinking about what they may have to do in the coming hours. And we're talking of maybe 5 or 6 hours before those waves eventually hit California. The situation in Alaska, parts of Alaska, is more serious. The warning there is to, especially those people in coastal areas, to get to higher ground to protect life and also to protect, if they can, property.
Yeah, presumably they will be doing the same thing that we are seeing on our screens right now. That this is Hokkaido, that's people moving up to higher ground there after those tsunami warnings in Japan, also tsunami warnings over in Hawaii and Alaska. And Peter, as far as the warning system goes, I mean, Donald Trump has actually reduced a lot of the funding towards the response in the federal government. I mean, is that likely to impact anything?
I think that remains to be seen. I think we need to see how this situation unfolds over the next 4 or 5, 6 hours, and a warning that a tsunami in its first wave isn't necessarily the most serious wave. So we really are going to be watching this for quite a number of hours ahead. But I think to make any judgment as to whether any changes by the federal government are going to affect the response to this, it's probably just too early to do that. But again, as I say, this is a state, indeed the west coast of America, is used to occasionally hearing these tsunami warnings, which are generally triggered automatically when an earthquake happens at a certain magnitude. They don't always materialize, but the warning is there. And in terms of what people do, well, I know that right across the region of the west coast of America, if you go to the coast, you often see the tsunami, the physical tsunami warning signs as to what to do if there is a tsunami. And again, the message is quite simple. It is get to higher ground, get further inland if you can.